What up, party people? I'm Erica. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. We're going to get into it. We're talking Emily and Kobe and all of the things. So stay tuned. This is going to be a quick kiki, and let's get into it.
I want a happy ending, tired of pretending. Let them get the best of me. Whoa, 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 give me a break. The game is survival. Give me a break and play my rival.
What's up, you guys? I am back here with another recap. I'm going to make it quick because I know it's really late. Because the new episode comes out tonight. So I want to get this posted and out there and doing the things. So this is going to sort of be a quick video, a quick kiki, because I would say if I was rating this on 1 to 10, I would give this a solid 2.5 on this episode. Let me know your thoughts about this episode. I was kind of, I don't know. We spent a lot of times on the couples that I don't really like. So, but we're going to make it through this review. So I'll make it quick. All right, you guys. So let's start off with here we go, the Ed and Liz debacle. Okay, so we learned here that Ed and Liz get into this argument, and we don't see the argument. And I really feel like I need to see it because to me, I agree with Liz on this, that if Ed gives your daughter food that's too spicy and she doesn't like it, and then he calls her a baby in front of his family and kind of embarrasses your young daughter, then I can see why she would snap off. But honestly, I'm not really a fan of either couple. So basically, Ed, they get to this big blowout at his sister's house. Of course, we see his sister, Ed and his sister later, and so his sister is certainly team Ed. However, yeah, so here's where we find out that they get into this big blowout. The next morning, Liz wakes up and Ed is gone. He is no longer in her, he's no longer in her bed, so to speak. And then she gets a text message from, I think, one of the, she gets a text message from one of the, okay, we switched it there. That's a little better. She gets a text message from one of the vendors that Ed has canceled the wedding. And so, yeah, Ed, his sister even has to tell him, as I think us, the fans, do too, like, at least tell her face to face that you're ending it once again. Liz, get your life and get your self-esteem and get your child and get up out of there. That's really all I have to say on Big Ed and Liz. So let's move it right along. Let's move it on to Rob and Sophie. Another couple I feel like my strongest feelings for them are this. Okay. Sorry, that's the wrong one. This is what my feelings are for them right here. Let's see. That's all I can say. Here, Sophie, from the last episode, she told him she was going to move back. She does move back. And he brings her salmon on crackers for breakfast. While I do enjoy smoked salmon. Okay, but breakfast in bed, I agree with Sophie. I don't get a lot of breakfast in bed. So, okay. It was an effort. But if I don't like cheese and you bring me cheese, then yeah, Houston, we have a problem. He puts the ring in the cheese, like this is the ring that you lost, but really it's some random ring I think he found in his apartment. And I still say this every episode. If you're portraying a rich girl, I have so many questions about your wig, Sophie. But that's okay. I bought some Amazon wigs, so I will be trying them for you all next week. So you all can talk about my wig the same way I talk about Sophie's. All right. So basically, they're awkward. They're not talking about their actual problems. She doesn't feel that great about Rob. um, she touches, but she wants to make a more of an effort with, instead of talking about the problems, she wants to make more of an effort with their she wants to make more of an effort with the tarantulas. So she like pets a tarantula. Okay. And then we come to find out. So she meets with her old roommate, the girl she was staying with. I think her name is May or Kay, or let me know in the comments. Oops. She meets with her for lunch and she's like, okay. So that we really get to the point of them is turns out they've been married a year, but they haven't had sex for 6 months. And she, the same way she forgot to tell him that her best friend, who was a guy, is also her ex, it's the same way she has now forgotten to tell him that she's actually slept with women before. So I don't see how he doesn't know that she's not that into him if she's steadily spending a night and not having sex with you. So I don't know. I don't know if they ever have they consummated the marriage, because I'm kind of like, if you haven't, you could just get it annulled and end all of our misery right now. But I want nothing but happiness for them. I wish them the best. But basically, we find out that there's this whole, they're not physical with each other. And I guess when they were, it was horrible. And she forgot to tell him that she actually has slept with women. So, girl, just come all the way out the closet and be you. All right, moving right along. That's all I got on them. Then we have Alexi and Lauren. Now, I hadn't seen them in a while because I didn't watch whatever spinoff that they were last on, but pretty much their storyline, or Lauren's storyline in this particular episode, is that she wants to get this natural mommy makeover. And by natural, I guess instead of putting implants into her body, they take the fat that they lipo out and maybe they give her, I forgot if she's getting bust or a booty, but she's getting very extensive surgery. So it's not natural as in she's going to go work out. It's natural in that they're not putting any fake things in her body, is my understanding. So her friends and family are all like, you look gorgeous, which she does for sure, especially after having 3 children. But she feels like she'll never have her 6-pack abs. So she's really trying to push this. Alexi does not want her to get the surgery. He realizes there's risk involved and it's, he thinks she's beautiful, etc. But he is, for the most part, showing support. And then I think we'll see later on, once she has the surgery, or I don't know if she's going to have it or not, honestly, because I haven't checked out her Instagram or anything like that. But I think he's waiting until the next doctor's appointment to really, to really kind of put the kibosh on it or sabotage it or whatever, which I kind of feel like, okay, if you really don't want her to have it, be honest and come to an agreement on it. And then, either accept it and support her, or, be honest that you're not going to accept it. One of the two. So their storyline is actually, I'm not all the way there, but I'm with it more than Big Ed and Sophie and Rob. So, I understand what it's like to not be happy in your body for sure, because I get it, and I get wanting to do something that's going to resolve it, as opposed to another year or two of being unhappy. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on what you think. I feel like, there's so many, like I have friends who've had plastic surgery and had complications. So I definitely feel like there are valid things to be concerned with, especially if, it's not really an essential surgery. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, please. All right, moving right along to, okay, another couple, Tus and Patrick. Another couple that I gotta say, yeah, another couple. Right now, I'm not totally feeling them either. It's really, I'm like, when is Angela coming on? But okay. So Tus and Patrick, they're getting ready to go to Brazil. He's going to meet her father and her family. We learn that Patrick's father is in Brazil and is from Brazil. So we see them packing. John is still coming. Tus is upset with that. They're kind of like packing, getting yourself together. They get on the flight. They get to Brazil. Come to find out, I forgot what Patrick does, but Patrick makes a cute point, apparently, because this whole time he's been renting an apartment in Brazil. So when he used to go visit her in Brazil, instead of Airbnb or doing a hotel or staying with her, he rented this apartment. And then now that she's back in the US with him, he's still paying some of the bills, is my understanding. But let me know your thoughts. I was kind of not clear on that. But basically, once they get there, she calls her father to say, okay, we're in Brazil, but we'll see you tomorrow. And the father is disappointed, but like, okay, he still calls Patrick a little bastard. So apparently he don't F with Patrick like that. But she's just like, okay, Patrick, you need to ask for his blessing, which is like, girl, we married and a baby. We still need to be blessed, but apparently so, according to Tus. And I think I pronounced that correctly, or I should say, I hope so. Okay, so they get to Brazil. They're just going to settle in that night and see him the next day. So they get to the apartment, which is, where they used to have their hookups. And lo and behold, Patrick's father comes in. So I'm so confused a little bit on this section because it seemed like the father lives there, right? That was my understanding. So I don't know where he's going to be staying when they're there. Is he going to be staying there? I don't know. Is that his home? Like, what? So they come in, he comes in, and she's like, okay, I thought we would have one night alone. So she's staying again, as usual. He can't say no to his dad, and come to find out, his dad is like, okay, well, I guess while you're here, we're going to totally rehab the apartment because it needs new paint and all these things. So I'm not sure what that means. Like, does that mean the father don't work? Does he not have money? Like, is he waiting for Patrick to do things from America in Brazil? So I don't know. I have questions. I have confusion, but she has an attitude about the dad. And I can't say I blame her, although I don't know how long that flight is, but I feel like I would be tired from that flight. And I'd be like, okay, me and my baby need to sleep. You all can figure out who's going to do the painting tomorrow. So interesting. Again, oh no, I'm not too much of a fan of them. Their storyline sort of seems produced to me, but I could be wrong. All right, moving right along. But that's pretty much all that I recall happening with them. All right, let's talk Kobe and Emily. Now, this was really interesting. And after tonight's episode, if they're on tonight's episode, I'll have some clips of them because I do really like them. So Kobe and Emily are in Cameroon, as we know. And again, we see Emily's family, like, they're just not white. They're like white. And so they're in Cameroon, which is a country that I believe at the time of this taping is like at war. So I was sort of confused as to why they chose this time to go, but okay, makes good TV. So we see them getting pulled over, and of course they're like, what? Why would they pull us over? What's going on? I don't know. What happened? I don't know. And so, well, I am not used to seeing people with guns. I mean, as a Black person, we used to get pulled over. So I'm like, y'all doing a little much with the shock and the awe, but it was smooth. It was no drama. So then we go to a Cameroon amusement park, which, so of course Emily was like, this is not like any amusement park in the US, which I think I've seen. Like, there's a place not too far from where I live in Chicago that was called Kitty Land. It kind of gave a small Kitty Land vibes. So the rides were kind of small for little kids or whatever, but the kids were having a good time, and they were meeting Kobe's former roommate. I think her name is Babe Val, I believe. They were meeting up with her, and Emily is like, "Oh, I'm so happy to finally have someone I know." Kind of, I think she thought she was gonna have somebody on her side when it came to Kobe and the situation, and the fact that she's bossy, and the whole they have different, they have different cultures and their culture clashing, etc. So they're going to meet she's going to meet with Babe Val, right? And so the kids are playing and everything. And so she sits down with Kobe's former roommate, who she knows, and she explains the issue. And the girl, she lives in Cameroon. So she's kind of like, well, our cultures are different. You need to make it more of an effort with his friends. And then, so she basically kind of like, in a nice way, kind of got Emily like, girl, you need to check yourself. You've always been bossy. You need to listen to Kobe. You need to let him have a voice, which is really the issue. And that's the thing. It's like, even in his country, you still want to check him all the time and in front of people. And so I think, the friend kind of gave her a perspective, or I think she was really the only one, because I think Emily's parents are Team Emily, of course. So this girl was kind of semi-neutral and kind of gave her a perspective like, your cultures are different. So in order to meet in the middle, you're going to have to make an effort, which she definitely was not doing before that. So she decides in her mind the best way to make an effort is to invite all his friends to the club, and they can see how much fun she is in the club. So she does that. She invites them all out to the club, and they're kind of like, oh, wow, we're surprised you invited us out after our last sort of talk or whatever. And so she's like, well, I want to get to know you and all this. So basically, they tell her, okay, in Africa, when you want to meet somebody's friends, you invite them to your home. And she's like, well, I'm not at home. We're staying at a hotel or Airbnb or wherever they're staying. And they're like, yeah, but you don't invite grown men to the club. And so now this is yet another strike. And in that moment, I did sort of feel for Emily, because she thought, okay, you all are single men. I'll meet you where you all have a good time, and you'll see like the fun party me. And they're looking like, girl, we don't want our boy to marry no party girl. We want to see if you can cook. So I kind of felt for Emily here. And I did kind of feel like Kobe could have told her, like, okay, in our culture, they're going to have some sort of judgment against you because you invited them to a club instead of to our home, or instead of for a meal or whatever. But he didn't. He was happy to be out and showing his friends how white people dance, which was semi funny. But I think their storyline seems really authentic, and it really is interesting, because it's like, Emily is so entrenched in being bossy that she still hasn't made any changes. So we'll see, All right. So that's pretty much what happened with them. Let's move on to. Did I miss anybody? Okay. All right. So the final couple at the very end. At the very end of the episode, we see Mahmoud and Nicole. Now, as you all know, she went to dinner with her friends. He didn't want to come because she had a dress with her back out, and they got into this big argument. And she, so she went without him, and she told her friends. What she told her friends was, he asked me for a divorce because of because I want to wear this dress. In all honesty, it was not just because of the dress. That was the last thing. But she has been treating him and bossing him and talking to him crazy. And she knows his heritage, his religion. She converted for him. So you already know what his religion expects. And you still think you're going to get him over here and act a fool and kind of embarrass him. And because he has no one here, he just has to basically, in Diddy's terms, take it. And that's why I think I kind of feel for him, because she's so like 1 minute she'll be halfway okay, and then she starts snapping off if she doesn't get her own way. So her friends, from the last episode, they come back to her place, and one of her friends is married. So it's from the Ukraine. I forgot the guy's name, but the husband is American. So he kind of talks to Mahmoud because he kind of understands like Nicole is a lot. So we see the fact that when Nicole pours him alcohol, he didn't know there was alcohol in the house. She knows that's a big deal, but she does it anyway, like whatever. Then when he's like, oh, I'm just tired, and trying to kind of be courteous to her friends, she then calls him a fucker. Oh, you little fucker. She just talks to him crazy and degrades him in front of her friends. And so he's like, okay, he goes back into the room and he's like, and so then that's sort of like this scene with them was really short on this episode, but basically she comes back there and then she's like, she sees him sort of looking at she comes in there, I guess, originally to talk, but when she sees him, like, he can't look at his suitcase after she's been treating him like shit for the whole 2 days he's been there. And so then she's like, okay, get the fuck out. And so then, to her astonishment, he's like, okay, I'm going to pack and do exactly what you told me. I'm not staying here. You're not going to talk to me. You're not going to disrespect me. And I was like, okay, shout out to Mahmoud for being a man, because this is exactly this is what Mahmoud made me think of right here. This was Mahmoud's answer when she told him to get the F out. He said this.
Okay, we're gonna follow this road all the way down. You're gonna take a sharp left, okay, up here, past this tree here, okay? Once you get up here, you're gonna take another sharp turn. And over here, this is where you have me fucked up at, right here in this place. Because I never asked you for your opinion. I don't care about it. I simply stated what I don't like. It doesn't matter how you feel. I said what I said, and I'm not changing it.
Yes. Mahmoud was like, you done. I got times today. So he packed his bag. He's like, okay, I'm going. She grabbed the suitcase. Then all of a sudden, after she's telling him to get the F out, she wants her friends to stop him from leaving. And he's like, no, I'm leaving. This is where you got me effed up at, right here, around this corner and to the right. And that's where I'm going. So we see him, and that's kind of how the episode ends. So, man, I can't wait to see what happens with Mahmoud and Nicole. Right now, I have to say, I get that he has these harsh rules based on his religion and stuff, but she's so rude and she talks to him so crazy, and she degrades him so often in public and in front of her friends, where I'm like, Mahmoud and Michael need to get an apartment together and just try to live their lives. Just run, Mahmoud. Run. Like, I don't want him to get arrested, which I think he is eventually, but run, sons. Just run. Get on up out of there. You gotta go. All right, you guys, I will be back tomorrow with a recap of tonight's episode, but that's it. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, so let's make it happen, you guys. Thanks so much. I'm Exactly Erika. That's my time. Good night. Ciao for now. Oh, one more thing. Be true, be you, be great, people. Ciao for now.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.